everyone! So right now AI is such a hot topic and everyone is talking about AI tools like ChatGPT. But what if you can create your own AI tool? OpenAI allows developers to integrate advanced AI capabilities into their own apps and services. So think about natural language processing, computer vision, and more. This can open up a wide range of possibilities for you so you can create your own innovative services and tools just by using some Node.js code. In this video, I'll show you how. Don't forget, tap the red button to subscribe and like this video so that YouTube knows and I know that you like videos like this. So first thing, go to openai.com, then click API. And they want you to sign up or log in. So if you have an account, you log in, otherwise you sign up. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. So then once you've logged in or signed up, you will see a page like this. So click Quick Start Tutorial. That's where we're going to start. So it tells you that the API is good for many tasks, for example, content generation, summarization, classification, data extraction, translation, and more. And then they have an introduction here where they're telling you how the API works. So for now, we'll jump straight into the code because if you're a developer like me, sometimes you just want to see what the code does. So we are going to try the example. So to use the example, you're going to clone their GitHub repo. So I am just going to open up my terminal. I'm going to go to where I normally have everything. So I'm just going to make a folder for this. I'm going to say YouTube Open AI demo. Go in that folder. Okay, so now you're going to clone the GitHub repo. So git clone, and that will be done. So once that's done, they want you to copy your API key. So when you sign up for an account, you will see the API key. So first thing, before you do that, you go into the directory that you just downloaded via git clone. So cd, and then they would like you to couple an environment file where you will have this private information, which is the API key. So your secret API key, you can find it here. So I had one that I used before, and I'm just going to create a new one for this purpose. So I'm just going to edit the .in file using Vim. So press I for insert, and then paste, and Control C, Control C, save. All right, so now that's done. Now we can run the application. So you have to install the node module, so npm install. And once that's installed, you can then run the application. So npm run dev. And it has started on localhost 3000. So if we just go to localhost 3000, name my pet. So it generates names for you. So if I type in zebra, Striped Avenger, Zebra Zapper, the Fantastic Zebra Man. I mean, I'm not going to call my dog. I'm not going to call my zebra the Fantastic Zebra Man. Let's try alligator. The Gator Guardian, Captain Croc. Oh, I love Captain Croc, the reptilian superhero. So now we have the code running using OpenAI API. So that's a quick start. That was done in less than a minute, I think. So that's super fantastic. Now we're going to try to understand the code. So let's open it up in Visual Studio and then index.js, no API, generate.js. So in the code, at the very bottom, you generate the prompt. So this prompt is what is sent to the API. So the API can try to figure out what you would like to find out. So there are other details that are within the prompt, and that helps the API understand what is happening. And in our case, we are trying to find out, well, if the person types in dog, then tell me, some cute dog names. So that prompt is sent to the API in this section here from line 28. And it says basically OpenAI.create completion. So it's creating a completion using this model, this prompt, and this temperature. The prompt is what we sent in that was generated here. I'll explain model, prompt, and temperature a bit later. So once we get the result, it will then be shown here. So now that we have gotten started, you can take your time to read the rest of this quick start. So how it works, you send a prompt to the completion endpoint of the API, and then you'll receive a response. So if, for example, if you have a prompt such as write a tagline for an ice cream shop, the completion API would return, we serve up smiles with every scoop. In this section here is telling you how to craft a good prompt. So for example, you start with an instruction, and then you add some examples into the instruction, and then you can adjust settings like temperature, When you lower the temperature, the AI will take fewer risks and the responses will be a bit more deterministic and more accurate. If you increase the temperature, then the results will be more diverse. So you probably will get more creative answers, but maybe they may not be the most accurate. So now that we have used the quick start tutorial to interact with OpenAI, now we are going to do an example. So now we're going to create a summarizer AI tool. So thankfully, there are lots of examples here like SQL Translate, movie to emoji, keywords extraction from text. One that I find really useful is summarization. And so instead of watching the news or even watching an entire YouTube video, you can summarize the transcript of the YouTube video and know what the person is talking about. Or you can do that same thing for articles. So if we search for summarize, there's a TLDR summarization. We're going to try this one. And OpenAI has provided us with the code to do so. So I am just going to copy the section here that's requiring getting the code completion response. And I'll create a function within the code that we have from the quick start tutorial. So I'm just going to create a new function here called create summary, and it takes in text, and I'm going to make sure it's async because we have to wait for the response. So in the section here where there's a prompt, I'm just going to take that away where it was hard-coded, and now I'm going to pass in the text that we would receive from the user. So just so we can pass it as a variable. However, remember when you're speaking with OpenAI's API, you have to give it some instructions so it understands what you would like it to complete, like what would you like it to do. So the instruction here for using this quick start, so you summarize text by adding TLDR to the end of a text passage, and it shows that the API understands how to perform a number of tasks with no instructions. So now I'm just going to put that here. So that's create summary. And in the section where that should go is where we're communicating with the API, which is in this section here with a try. So I am just going to comment up to here because that is using the previous method, generate prompt. And I'm going to now say instead, constant completion is equal to await. And I'm going to call the method that we created, create summary. And the variable that they receive from the front end, it's named animal right now because that's the quick start tutorial. I'm just going to leave it like that for now, just for simplicity's sake. So you're going to get the completion response, which they were getting before, and then it's going to print it to there. And if you just want to change the title, so it just makes a bit more sense, you can change it to enter text to be summarized. So the front end could just make a little bit more sense. And I'll say generate summary. Okay. So instead of name my pet, I say summarize this text. So if we just check to see what the front end looks like. Perfect. So summarize this text, generate summary, enter the text to be summarized. Okay, so hopefully this should work. I think there's one thing I forgot in the code. In the method, I think I'm meant to return this response. Return response. All right, perfect. All right, voila. So now that that's done, I am going to enter text to be summarized. So I'm going to find an article, let's say on TechCrunch. Twitter puts more emphasis on the bookmark feature. So let's see if we can summarize this. Let's just get a bit more text. All right, so Twitter is now rolling out a new feature on iOS that makes it easier to bookmark tweets by adding a button underneath the expanded tweet view. So that was a quick tutorial teaching you how you can use the OpenAI API to create your own AI tools. What types of tools and services would you create with the OpenAI API? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, let me know by dropping a comment, leaving a like, and also subscribing.